Good evening, everybody. Hi, it's me here in the little box again today. Steve Goodey speaking, and welcome to Keep the Momentum, our deals webinar with myself and Mr. Shane Carruthers, who I'll drag up right now. I'm based in Wellington, and Shane down there is based in Auckland, so we've kind of got the country covered to a degree, except for the mainland. Sorry, don't want to alienate anybody. Hey, Shane, just out of interest, why is it that I always feel I need to brush my teeth before a webinar? I think it's just weird, right?
Yeah. It is weird, but it's even weirder telling us about it, but that's fine.
Thanks, you appreciate that. So this evening's webinar is going to be short and sharp. I reckon we're going to be half an hour. We've got some really, really cool stuff and a couple of really interesting stories too. Absolute stunners. But first, I have to do the legal work. Obviously, this is not financial information. This is class advice for a large group of people. And obviously, if you want to have individual financial advice, contact a financial advisor or contact one of our guys. We're going to mortgage advisor coming on very shortly, and he'll tell you the same thing from Mortgage Supply Company. So, yeah, I think that's pretty clear, and most people are used to those disclaimers. We don't know exactly what your individual financial situation is, so we can't give you individual one-to-one advice. Excellent. Now, we had 681 people on the webinar 3 weeks ago, and we've added another 300 people to the webinar for today. So we've got over 1,000 people registered for this. And one of the things that I've noticed with these webinars too is that we get a pretty good turn-up rate. And then straight after that, I put it on YouTube and it blows up, it gets 300-400 views. But you're doing the right thing tonight. You're getting the fresh information because you're actually here listening to us live. This is not recorded. So fantastic. Great to have you on board, and thanks for coming. Shane and I have been absolutely all over the country this week, digitally and otherwise, to find you what we believe are three of the very sharpest property deals that you will see in many, many months. Now, we would have had 5 deals, but we accidentally went and sold 2 of them during the week because people got really, very, very excited. And it's the same old story. People get incredibly excited about all of the same deals all at the same time. And these are one-offs. They are bespoke deals. There's not 20 of them like townhouse developments. They are absolutely one-off deals. And so I'll say it now and I'll say it again before this webinar is over. If we show you something of interest that fixes a problem for you, is better than what you can find yourself, and has that cash flow that you need in your portfolio so that you can borrow this time and borrow more again, jump on it fast. Jump on it real, real fast. Let's go. So this is an example of a deal that we did. How long ago was this, Shane? This wasn't that long ago. Wouldn't have been 2 months ago, would it? Would have been 6, 8 months
No,
ago?
it was. Yeah, it was. It was actually beginning of the year. It was January, but it's gone fast. Yep.
So this is a gentleman who's a client of ours and came to us and said, this property is in Palmerston North. He's not from Palmerston North. He had some worries and some concerns about being remote. He really wanted something that was massively cash flow positive. We looked at this and said, hey, look, this things can really, really turn out great. And we have, for use of a better word, I don't find it a bit condescending, but we'll go there anyway, babysitting this particular client through from doing his due diligence, becoming nervous and uncomfortable, and securing the deal, going unconditional, gaining finance, paying his deposit, buying the property. And we're now at a point where we're actually helping him refinance this property, which is firmly in the realm of the Mortgage Supply Company. And that makes it one of the Windlers. And tonight we've got Jack Windler available with us. I'm just going to bring him up on the screen now because hey, Jack, hey. So this is firmly in your wheelhouse. And I'm going to walk you through some quick numbers on this. And you tell me whether we're completely dreaming or not, because I must have set up about 50 boarding houses now in the last 15, 20 years. And there's a scale to them. Purchase and acquisition, or securing the boarding house, doing the renovation and turning it from a small number of rooms, hopefully, to a larger number of rooms, an increase in rent and therefore an increase in value, showing that value and that valuation to your bank, and then refinancing so you can pull your equity back out again and recycling. I was talking about this on the Facebook page this week, saying being able to 100% recycle or more, that's the standard. That's the gold mark. So We bought this as a 5-bedroom house. A lounge has been split in half. It's now a 7-bedroom house. It's 163 square meters. A few of these rooms are actually singles, which is fine. The location will allow for that. And it's now got an 18% gross return. Bonkers. If you can find that, buy it. So annual income after the reno, we're just getting final reno figures, it will be $92,000. We've got a rental appraisal that says exactly that. OPEX is 18.5. I think that's a soft number myself. I'm being very realistic with you guys online tonight. And Shane, you pointed this out earlier today as well. We felt that number was a little weak. We're going to nail into that a little bit more. Net income of, say, $73,000. Expected new valuation, this is the midway point of where we're talking with the valuer at 820. So suddenly this property has gone from a very early $500,000 price point to $820,000, picking up around $300,000 in equity-ish. Final reno numbers still coming. So, Jack, what's the likelihood of us being able to take this to a main bank or refinance to a main bank at around 65%? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so with anything like this, you walk in off the street to your local banker, and I think you'd blow their mind if you showed them something like this, right, Steve? So I think that experience up front of before we even get to the end part, when we're presented a deal like this from one of your clients, we actually look at that position. How do we settle the deal, and how do we maximize the next steps after? And we're pre-planning this already. And if we have to, often we'll try our best to settle up front with the bank, and then go from there and recycle. But also sometimes we have to go with a non-bank first and refinance later. Sometimes we'll even get the pre-approval already to make sure they're pre-planned. So it's very realistic for someone to be able to do the two-stage approach.
Yep. And I mean, with this particular client, we've said to him, bed it in, fill all of the rooms up, give us 3 months history, make your life really, really easy when you're going to do that refinance and that revaluation. Because all you're doing is proving the point. And we've got a property manager in that region that we trust who does a lot of this, which once again is an absolute gold star gift. And this is an older property. It's right in the middle of town. And I think at $500,000, it was actually kind of a gift. It would still be, I think, what do you think, Shane? Like, it would have probably still been a good deal if it was $50,000 or $100,000 more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, we could sell that for probably $650 now at a sort of 11-12% yield for sure. It was just an opportune time to get the deal, and the buyer moved quickly, and so it was just a deal that was done. And it will show you the photos afterwards, but it did need a little bit of a lipstick on it to sort of clean it up. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that kitchen was pretty basic and bits and pieces like that. And we did do some stuff. I don't know what the final renovation value was, but I don't think it was 40,000 or as heavy as that. There's a lot of cosmetic that went on with this property. And I think the key point here is that Shane and I and Jack actually worked on this as a entire thing. It wasn't just here, buy a property. It was, let's get you pre-approved. Let's get you comfortable with the due diligence. Let's purchase the property the right way so that we can then do the renovation straight away. And we worked with this client all the way through Healthy Homes compliance, the renovation and the revaluation so that they can refinance it. Because if you look at those finance numbers that I used there, if the new loan is 65% of 820, they're going to pull out $533,000. So they've got their deposit back and 70 or 80% of the renovation money back as well. And at that point, only the bank has money in this, but you still own it. And you've picked up that $300,000 worth of equity. And honestly, as beautiful deals go, this is one of those holy grail ones that just works like that. And I just love it. And this house has been there nearly 100 years. It's going to be there forever. It's in the middle of town. It's not a tiny town. It's a town with a few different industries in it. And the key thing that I think that the client did perfectly on this one was move real quick, because once again, like one we're about to show you shortly, we had lots and lots of inquiry on this, but only one person could buy it because bespoke. It's not a townhouse development. This thing functions way better than that. So,
yeah, and I think sort of helping everyone through the whole process too is sort of our sort of point of difference is that we're not just going to sell you a property and then let you go. We're going to help you with the financing if you need dealing with council staff, dealing with a property manager. If there's renovation to be done, we can point you in the right direction. So it's sort of quite a bespoke service all the way through. So if you see deals like this and you think that seems like a lot to take on, that's what we're good at, is actually getting people through the process with the whole team of people.
Absolutely. And I fully agree with that. Shane's always, we're probably in touch 20 times a day. I'm watching Shane talk to Jack today about insurance and about finance and about different clients. And Tuesday, I drive back to Palmerston North again to help another client through another property and stuff. We're trying to be that bespoke, full service because, honestly, I've been around so long that I want to show people some wins like this, like I've had with my portfolio, because, man, they come back and buy more stuff off us and they become raging fans. And that's exactly what we want. So imagine now if you're listening to this webinar going, oh, I've watched these talking heads on the screen do a couple of webinars now. But imagine if you own 354 Botanical Drive and you took a punt on it at 500, it's now worth something in the eights. And with realistic costs and expenses, and I push back on a couple of these numbers, but it's within Kui, right? Then with realistic costs and expenses, this could kick out 800, 850. It might nudge into the $900 a week passive cash flow for the person who purchased it and took that move on it quickly when it popped up.
But it's also 18% yield now. So in 10 years' time, is there going to be a 30% yield with rents going up? Like, this is the sort of portfolio ones that you see old guys owning, and you're like, how do you have a 30% yield? And it's because they buy it now. The costs are similar. Mortgage costs move around, rates will go up, insurance will most definitely go up, but so will your rents. People won't be paying $200 a room in 10 years' time.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got an example of that coming up very, very shortly, of a long-held boarding house, because if you're putting, damn near $1,000 a week in your pocket, why would you ever sell it? So The next example we've got here is another one that we sold maybe a month ago. I think this one's just settled. It's 8 bedrooms at 182 square meters, $1,500 a week, 12% gross. This one's going to generate about $400 per week. Once again, pretty much zip renovation. This was really nice on the inside. It was better than the first one. This was priced at $680,000. Now getting $1,500 a week rent. So obviously quite massively cash flow positive. And the advantage that the person had who purchased this one is they actually knew me personally. And that first one knew me a little bit, but, it takes people a period of time to go, are these guys full of it? And to gain that trust. And I think the three of us here are standing here tonight saying to you, we're going to continue to bring you these deals about every 3 weeks. And we're going to keep showing you this stuff. And it's going to start to get to the point where you're going to be like, maybe I should do this. So this one's 12% yield gross. It's over 9 net, 182 square meter floor on 565 freehold site. You can walk to a pack and save from this at Central City, $400 a week after all expenses, cash flow positive, not much reno at all. As you can see, it was previously used.
Mint.
Oh, it's so good. Right?
The building report was so clean on it. It was just a very clean property.
God, I love a boring building report. I really do. Don't want to see stuff in it. And because the lady that purchased this one knew me personally and knew I don't stitch people up, but I'm not full of it and stuff, she actually came to me. She lives in Wellington. She came to me, had a coffee, sat down, and she said, Steve, help me through this. Like, what do I do step by step by step? And I put her in touch with a mortgage supply company. I put her in touch with our local rep here from Mortgage Supply, Carl, and he, in his beautifully kind and gentle way, walked her through all of the stuff that she had to do to get finance approved for this. We gave her some due diligence time, answered a million questions. She went and had a look at the thing because it's in Palmerston North. Once again, and she got to a point of supreme comfort with this particular deal, settled it very recently, and now we're on stage 2. acquisition, renovation, tenanting, and then refinancing. We're walking you once again through that entire system, which is what I've done for my coaching clients for years, but bespoke one-to-one, deal-by-deal basis. So the numbers on this one look pretty blooming good too. And Jack's leaning in, he's like, look, I'm going to have to refinance this. So $1,500 a week against a $680,000 purchase price. Once again, this is going to value. Look, I'd put it very similar to the other one. It's going to be in the 8s somewhere.
I think a little bit higher for this one. Yeah, it's just a bit quality. Yeah, it's a bit slightly bigger house, and it's just a 2-story, and you've also got the garage is like built like a house. It's got like house windows in it and like a concrete floor that could actually be more room. So once you got this model to work, you've got scope to. I don't know if we've got photos of the garage, but the garage is like 60 square meters or something ridiculous, isn't it? So I think this would value a bit higher.
Yeah, and I think some of that 60 square meters is included in the 180 even. So realistically, with this particular property, we're splitting a dining room in half and leaving the lounge completely as it is. It was already 6 bedrooms, and we're making it into 8 bedrooms. And the target one for this is to do it with one tenancy, which could be nurses, it could be social housing provider, all that type of thing. And it just works. It just works. So there we go again. Another pretty flash cash flow deal. Now, thanks for that, Jack. I'll leave you to it. We're going to bowl into some actual other deals, but thanks for jumping on board with us tonight. I know you're going to be sitting there watching us for the next 20 minutes. If anybody else has any other finance questions, yell out, and I'll drag back Jack up on the screen here. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No worries at all. Go well, gents.
Thanks.
So the first deal that we've got for you tonight that we have for sale, and this is, I don't know if I'd call this the best deal we've got tonight, but this one's a stunner. This one's a really interesting story. Now, let's just wind back a few million years ago when Shane and Steve were much younger men. Now, we first started out property trading. We've been mates for 20 plus years, and we share
business mates.
Come down. We share similar business ethics and stuff, and we've always represented that. Now, we found this property and traded it to the person who currently owns it. That was over 17 years ago. Now, that vendor trusts us enough so that 17 years on, they've come back and asked for us to dispose of the asset for them again as well. And I just love the circular nature of that. I think Shane just mentioned earlier that he feels like he can retire now. He's closed the loop.
Yeah. Insert Lion King music. Yeah.
So the thing I really love about this is that the investor that purchased this was a pretty young investor when he purchased it. It was an old retirement village, residential retirement village. It's always been massive. It's always had a huge amount of bathrooms and bits and pieces in it, and it's always performed incredibly well in the location that it is as a rent by room or a boarding house. And there's nothing to be done to this property. Zero maintenance, zero renovation to be done. It currently just ticks over the way it is. So a buyer probably tonight is going to jump on this thing real hard and go, I need that in my portfolio. They're going to understand that Upper Hutt is a very blue-collar suburb about 30 minutes out of Wellington, and that there's a plumbing college there, and there's a training college for prison guards, and there's all this light industrial. There's a train track that runs straight through it into Wellington City and a motorway, and that it's uniquely positioned for this type of accommodation. But this client who's asked us to sell the asset for him tonight has literally owned and run this for 17 years in its exact current configuration. And he is, in my opinion, too meticulous with the way that he's done that. He's spent too much of his cash flow keeping it just mint, to the point where there's actually 10 bedrooms there. There's only 9 tenancies. And I asked him about it the other day, and he goes, well, one of the rooms, I'm just having some new carpet put down and having it painted. And I'm just sitting there going, here we go again. He's spending more money on it. But that's a brilliant result for the next guy who won't need to do any maintenance for a very, very long time. So this one's 12% gross, renting at a $2,100 a week with a possible $2,300 a week lift if you want to take it right up to market. Personally, I'd leave it as it is and fall asleep on it right now and let it do its thing and just bank the cash flow, because somebody's going to buy this and they're going to start banking that cash flow from day one. The week after they pay for it, they're going to start getting cash flow coming in, which I think is fantastic. We've obviously got, it's massive. It's on a big section. There's space at the back to do some more to it if you wish. If you want to knock, you see that garage to the left, you can knock that down and put a minor dwelling on the back. Council permitting, obviously. We've got the rates, we've got all the expenses. We've got really good, as you can imagine, history with this property. So we've got cash flow numbers going back a mile. The property itself, it was an old retirement village, so it's massively overspec'd for a rent by room and for what it is actually currently used for. And at the end of the day, it's 780 square metres of flat land right in the middle of Upper Hutt City. The replacement cost alone of a 280 square metre house would be well above, or would be well over $1 million very easily. Shane, thoughts? You had some history with this one, haven't you?
Yeah, no, it's an awesome property because it had a whole lot of oldies in it at some stage. It's actually been set up optimally with bathrooms, because typically when you have sort of rent by the rooms, you never really quite have as many bathrooms as you'd wish for. They still do function really well, but best case, you'd be good to have, 5 or 6 bathrooms for 10 people in there. And this does have that. It's got wheelchair access for, obviously, because of how it was set up. And it's just in really good condition. And you don't have 10 rooms spread over 140 square meters or something. It's massive. Like it's not a tight space. And then with the upside of having the big piece of land that you could add more to at the back, yeah, it's a stellar deal. But it's just turnkey. Like this is not speculative of like you could rent it for this. This may happen. These may be your expenses. This has been running like this for 17 years, and they typically don't come on the market for sale operationally. You typically got to create them by finding places and then turning them into this type of property. So the only reason this is being sold is because he's older, like we all are now, and he just wants to clear his mortgages. So he's actually going to clear his mortgage on his own personal home. So it's actually a strategic exit. Doesn't need to sell it. It's got great cash flow, but for his next stage of life, he just would like to have no mortgages. So there's an opportunity there for someone to buy a property that's had way too much money spent on it for a rental. Like he's spent way too much money on maintenance, but it's a good thing. I wouldn't have done it personally, but the benefit is for the next owner is that everything's been sort of, kept up to spec.
Yeah, you also pick up a hell of a lot of chattels when you buy a boarding house that's actually up and running like that as well.
That's true.
This is deal number 1, and we'll put the link in the comments right now. And all you need to do to show interest in these particular property deals is click on the link in the comments for that particular deal. Like I said, this is deal number 1. It'll take you real quickly to Shane's website, and there's a one-click there for gain more information. And he's rather cleverly automated all of this to email out further information to you. If you're super, super excited about any one particular deal, we'll explain to you later on in the webinar how to expedite that and move that along a little bit quicker. Ron makes a comment there. Rents look overinflated at more than $200 a room. You are so
It's rented.
wrong.
It's rented for more than that.
Now, we've got a property manager in Palmerston North who's quoting between $230 and $270 per room.
But they actually currently rented for more than 200, and they have been for the best part of 10 years.
Well,
So
no, 10 years, 17 years ago, these were 175, 185 probably. They've been well over 200 for a decade.
Well, you've been over 200 for the last 10 years. So that's not correct. And someone else has asked just about where the listing is. Just jump on Cashflow. Yeah, cashflowproperty.co.nz at any stage while you're watching this. You can have a look at the listings.
We'll chuck the listing in. You've got it on the other sheet there, Shane. Bang it in.
Okay.
Do you cover bills when you're doing the boarding house room by room? Yes, you're going to pay the rates, the insurance, the electricity, and the maintenance. And we include that in our cash flow reports and show either an estimate of what that will be or the actuals if we have those available as well. We're actually very, very good at estimating them now as well. Thanks, Shane.
Well, this one you've got real info. So you typically, because you've got power and internet and stuff, so you kind of allow about $1,000 a month. So you got power and internet, and that's would be way more than you need, because you're going to have a lot more in winter with heaters being run and then less in summer. But this one's got pretty good history, so the expenses are pretty easy to articulate. With the other deals where they're being made into boarding houses, we use an assumption, but they're pretty close to where it would be.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with this one too, and I've seen some of the tenants who've rolled through some of these upper Hutt boarding houses. I've owned a few of them myself. There's actually a training college right next door in Trentham that trains prison guards, and they turn up for 6 months. They've got a bed, they don't have a table, and they don't have a fridge, they don't have a washing machine. All of that's already provided. And they move in, and power and internet's covered, and they move there for 6 months, and they train to be prison guards, and then they go back to wherever they came from to work in a local prison. And I know that's a one-off, but there's always multiples of those one-offs everywhere. And the other thing too is, quite often, and we don't like to quote this because you can't guarantee it, but you'll get social housing providers that want to take on one of these properties in its entirety, and they will pay $300 or $400 per room per week and rent it for years and years in advance. And
they do their own power and internet, and you don't have a property management component. So the cash flow would be a lot more than 500 a week. Yeah.
And we literally don't quote it that way because it just doesn't sound realistic, but it happens. So if you look at cash flow on this thing, you're talking $124,000 a year if you max it out to the 2-3 per week, with all the property management rates, power, cleaning, insurance, and you could probably take out 5% occupancy there, but we've got a really robust history of this thing being full. You're still talking $95,000 net, and on a realistic mortgage, and we allow for 100% mortgage on all of these calculations because all the money's got to come from somewhere. We're just, once again, trying to be subtle with our numbers and realistic for the real world of owning these things. You're still 9.5% net with over $500 per week cash flow coming in from the property, which is, in all respects, quite a bit better than what most people can normally do. Next question I've got there from Fergus is, do these boarding houses usually have high occupancy vacancy rates? No. I mean,
no, if you've got a good property manager, yeah.
I mean, don't do them in towns of less than 12, 15,000 people, and they'll always find a need for it. I've got a client at the moment who has a 28-bedroom boarding house in Whangarei, and he's put it on Airbnb. And it's getting about a 45 to 50% occupancy rate from sports clubs and church groups and weddings coming to Whangarei and not wanting to take out an entire hotel. And it's, God, I was talking to me the other day about it, and it's $10,000 or $15,000 a week cash flow positive. Shane, you know who I'm talking about. He's minted this place out, but oh wow.
Yeah. So these sort of rent by the rooms, they don't work in every location. There's a certain niche location where you're close to public transport, maybe universities if you want students, or inner city locations are optimum. And then you just get everyday people in there that just want a room to rent. They can't afford to rent with rent a whole house, or they don't know a whole lot of people, and they're not transient people. Like sometimes they might be there for, like, if we asked Ash, the owner of this property, there's probably been people in there for 10 years in some of those rooms. So
I've got that tenant in there, Eddie. He's in there for his 9th year at the moment.
Yeah. So you do get reasonably long-term tenants. They do sign a standard tenancy agreement. They do pay a bond. So yeah, it does work well. It's not for everyone, but if you want like real full-on cash flow, it's kind of the only way to do it, really, that I've found, unless I'm missing something. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is another good question. Is the property manager in place for this, or does the owner manage it? The owner of this, I believe, has actually been managing it himself for a little while, but he's also had a property manager in there in the past. He hasn't managed it for the last 17 years himself. You can do either one, really. We're pretty good at finding decent property managers around the place.
Pretty sure he's got one now, to look after it. Yeah. But we can put you in the right direction.
And yes, this property is currently tenanted. There's 9 tenants in the 10 rooms. And the only reason it doesn't have 10 out of 10, like I said, is he's spending this weekend throwing some paint around one of the rooms.
Yeah, but that will tenant pretty quickly. Yeah, I know. But it'd be easy to get that other tenant in there. Yeah, but certainly you don't want to be managing these. Just give it to a specialized property manager. There's enough cash flow there to pay a property manager, let them handle it all, and just take the cash flow. And that allows you to buy in any location.
Yep. All right, so moving on to the next deal. Keep the questions coming, guys. These are good, useful questions for everybody. But yeah, awesome. So this particular deal, this looks like a boarding house or a student accommodation in Dunedin, and it's not. It's 2 upstairs units and 2 downstairs units. So this is actually 4 one-bedroom apartments. Now, the trick with this one, slightly more subtle cash flow at $1,400 a week on a purchase price of $965, 7.6% gross. No problem with funding because banks love multiple unit flats like this. And this is not student accommodation. Despite being in Dunedin, this student accommodation usually takes out the entire bottom end of the market. And so it's a real tight market in Dunedin for a single person or a young couple to live in a house on their own, that next level up from the student accommodation market. And so this is absolutely perfect for that. $1,400 a week, 4x1. It's a freehold site at 612, which is really useful because, as you can see, the building's really quite close to the front of it. It's got off-street parking. The other thing is that with this one, separate power meters, four separate power meters. So no problem with that at all. And if you look at the photos on this, look at their backyard. Backyard cricket for the win. But ultimately, this is a cash flow property that's going to put money into your pocket every week. One day, you will either put a bulldozer through this and spread out a whole pile of townhouses on there, or you'll end up selling this to somebody who will do exactly that. And that's the advantage here. Inner city, Dunedin Central land of 700 odd square meters, very, very rare to get. Good high heights. It's old. It's maintained well. Once again, 4 tenants in there. No need for renovation. So we're not quoting jump in there and rip through it for 8 weeks with a team. We're saying this is actually up and running at the moment with cash flow. And so there again, bang out some numbers for you. 73,000 gross. After you take some mortgage and property management rates, insurance, bits and pieces out, you're still left with nearly 69. Anyway, you've got positive cash flow of around $75 per week for the entire property. It's grossing 7.6 and netting 5.4. But once again, this is done. This is, you settle it. It's under management locally. They take care of it. Off you go. And you don't have to dive in there. You don't have to fly down to Dunedin and rip through it for a few weeks. This one is good to go. And I think kind of quite a cool looking place to be right in the middle of the city with. Great property. Once again, like fully let. And if you're interested in this one, this is deal number 2 of the 3 that we've got for you this evening. The link is in the comments there. All you got to do, once again, is click on that, go straight to Shane's Cashflow website and request all of the information, the brochure, the bits and pieces, the numbers, the details, and that'll come out to you this evening. Have a read through it. And for the people that are getting right onto it, we'll give you a bit of a wake-up call in a moment as well. So that is deal number 2, Dunedin, 4 times 1 bedrooms. Brilliant. Now, deal number 3. This one's literally like 3 blocks from me over here. I'm currently in Petone in Wellington, and this one is an 11-bedroom boarding house. This one's 240 square meters. It's massive. It was a 4-bedroom house with 3 lounges, 3 big lounges, plus a sleep out. And the sleep out's not the thing on the right that looks like a garage. That's actually a garage, which it has as well. So you get 2 off-street parks, plus a garage, plus on-street parking. This one's been fully let for a very, very long time as well. It's super central. It's on the waterfront of Petone, looking out over to Wellington City, which is 12 minutes away. If you come out of this property, on the right-hand side, you've got Lower Hutt. Straight ahead, you've got Wellington. On the left-hand side, you've got Wainoa-Yamato. Renting at $2,745 per week, or $142,000 a year. There's 3 full bathrooms in here. All of the tenants are young men who have jobs and work. They all leave the property all day, every day. They get stuck in. I've owned one very, very close to this in the past and had 15 Filipino truck drivers living in it while they were building the transmission gully. But this is all individual tenancies in this one. It's solid weatherboard. It had a new roof about 10 years ago. It's fully Healthy Homes compliant. It says 15 minutes to Wellington, but 12 if you drive like Shane. It's a very, very close and central property. And we're quoting on this one on realistic costs and expenses and occupancy up to sort of $800 per week. But you could keep the rent exactly on a subtle level and not push anything too hard, keep the maintenance up, because I'll show you some photos in a minute. This place actually looks really, really nice on the inside too. And you could sit there with a real quiet $500 or $600 per week on this property. And once again, no renovation required. It's under management at the moment. It's full or very close to full. Don't quote me on that one, maybe. I'll come back to you. And somebody will buy this probably tonight, and they will settle it in 4 or 5 weeks' time once we've walked through due diligence and made them very, very comfortable. And they will start banking $500 or $600 per week, cash flow positive straight away. And, well, that's the question I meant to ask Jack. But anyway, these things are sometimes slightly harder to finance, or you have to explain them to banks. But once you've got it in your portfolio, that cash flow helps you buy so many more properties, because you don't get stuck on the servicing side as easily. Because this property, probably 6 or 7 years ago, was a 3-bedroom before it was converted, and it was getting $650 a week. Now it's getting nearly 4 times that in rent. So it helps you with your servicing. So here's a few photos of the inside. They're cherry-picked photos, but basically what we're saying is it's got brand new jib and brand new paint and good quality carpet underneath it. Bottom right-hand side, that's the end of the street. That's Petone Foreshore. It's got a massive kitchen in it, 3 bathrooms. Like I said, 11 bedrooms without squeezing it too hard. If you want to squeeze it too hard, if you want to be that guy, there's probably a 12th bedroom there if you want it. Obviously, you'd have to go through council and compliance if you wanted to do that. Now, this is deal number 3, and we will once again bang a link in the comments. And once again, if you're interested in that, hit the link, go to Shane's website, request the pack on this particular property, have a read through it. Now, the numbers on this one start to look pretty juicy as well. The reason I like about this one is I explained to you Upper Hutt and its tenant pool. You understand Palmerston North and its tenant pool. Wellington, 12 minutes to Wellington, 12 minutes to the capital city of this country. I don't have to explain to you what that tenant pool is, but I will. This one is absolutely chock-a-full of Pakistani and Indian gentlemen. And a lot of them are courier drivers, a lot of them are chorus installers, they all work hard, they're all moderately recent immigrants, and we have in the past actually had a waiting list lined up for this particular property. So we're quoting $2,745, about $142,000 a year. Property management, we've got full property management on this. The owner doesn't touch it. Rates, insurance, Wi-Fi and power, electricity always included there as well. So positive cash flow on a full property, keeping the management down a little bit, being conservative, you're topping out at $900. I would say this works every day at $600 or $700 a week without pushing your luck at all. And as I said, there's a 12th bedroom there if you really want it. So this one's 10% gross and 8.2% as a net return. Now, because we had 5 of these deals for you this week, and because we now have 3, you must understand that 2 of them went under offer today. So if you are really excited about any one particular one of these deals and you'd like to have like a quick 10-minute, 5-minute, whatever conversation with either me or young Shane here, put into the comments section which deal you'd like us to speak to you about. We'll grab your phone number and we'll give you a call either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. Obviously, we've got that registration process, but hot deals like these don't wait. And there's a few hundred people online tonight, and I imagine that you have hit Trade Me and looked at deals and not seen any that were manicured as much as the cash flow on this one. And so if you're specifically interested in either deal 1, deal 2, or deal 3, put in which deal number. We'll have a look at your name. We won't make you disclose your phone number. We'll look it up in the webinar software. We've already got it there. And we'll give you a quick call tonight and just run through some details, answer any specific questions that you have. And this is how our client spent $500,000 on an 8-bedroom boarding house in Palmerston North a couple of months ago and got an 18% gross return. Fergus asks, would insurance be difficult to acquire for this property? Yes. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Petone is a flood risk. And it's, I think, 2 meters above the sea level. But there's also hundreds of houses there, and I've lived there for 53 years, and I've never seen it get wet. So
and there is insurance on it. Yeah,
there is insurance. It's fully covered at the moment,
and it's not even that high.
No, you kind of have to just juggle it around, but it's insurable. That's the important thing. You wouldn't be able to sell it otherwise.
We don't market anything that we haven't checked whether it could be insured. That's part of the due diligence that we do now.
We don't do asbestos. We don't do Ducks Quest. We don't do leaky homes. We don't do stuff that's in an actual flood zone. This is just foreshore. That's all it is. So, somebody's going to buy this property probably the next few days, and they're going to start banking $500 or $600 a week. And don't want to put too much of a point on it, but you might be back and listening to our next webinar, which, by the way, thanks for asking, June the 10th. We've booked it in and registered, and we're going to send everybody out reminders and bits and pieces. We're going to do another one June the 10th. Somebody's probably going to buy this deal tonight. I think that Dunedin deal is awesome, but I think the two clear leaders tonight is deal 1 and deal 3. If you like boarding houses, and I do, I've built a powerful portfolio on the cash flow from boarding houses. Deal 1 and deal 3, absolutely mint. We also have 2 fairly flash cash flow deals available towards the end of the week. I know it's Wednesday now, so towards the end of the week might be Monday, Tuesday. But the fastest way to get your hands on those is to go to cashflowproperty.co.nz/property alerts, which we will chunk in there now. Thank you, Rome, our admin, banged it into the comments there. Jump on there and register for Shane's deal alerts, because everything we get gets chucked on there. You guys are getting this freshest stuff, brand new, because you're turning up for the webinar, but you absolutely want to jump on for those deal alerts. And I'm going to chuck Jack back up on here. He's sitting there. He's just gagging to go. He's eager to go. There he is. He wants to be back involved again. So mortgage supply companies, we call them our pre-approval partner, and they do a lot of capacity reports for our clients. And we'll put their link to their marketing through my website in there as well, which is stevegoodey.com/finance. There we go. It's in the bottom of the thing there. And what we recommend is that we've probably got you a little bit excited about a couple of cash flow property deals tonight. Somebody's going to jump on that, get some due diligence and buy it. Why wouldn't you speak to mortgage supply company, let them help you prove your finance, tidy up your debt, sort all of this stuff out, choose a bank that works the very, very best using a professional advisor, maybe even go all the way through to a pre-approval, so that when you see something that's just clicks with you and is stunningly obvious, like you will do in the next couple of webinars, no doubt, you can actually jump on it first, because speed beats just about everything with us. So what are the bank clearance rates like at the moment, Jack? Are they moving through these things quickly or nah?
It's hit or miss at the moment, and I think we're pretty big volume based these days, so we're pulling favors if we need to. But you're probably looking at a couple of weeks to get something done from start to finish at the moment. So you want to be in front of the queue, right? I mean, I even had someone yesterday just randomly call me off the bat wanting to talk about one of your guys' deals. They don't know we know each other and all those sort of things. And gave them a same day report back on their lending capacity, and the deal had already gone. And that's same day is pretty good on a lending report of where they stand, and they still couldn't get in time. So the power of the pre-approval, as cliche as it is real.
Yeah. And like as you said, they showed a lot of activity and jumped on it straight away, and they still missed the deal by not being quick enough. And because people just can't see these deals, they're fast, man. They move. And obviously we work with Gilligan Rowan Associates, who are the best property accountants in the country as well. They're like Mortgage Supply Company. They're massive, and they've got advisors everywhere, and they're nationwide, and they do this stuff all day, every day. And so one of the webinars that I'm going to do very shortly is I'm going to jump on and get Matthew Gilligan from Gilligan Rowan Associates, who, I don't think he'd mind me saying this, I think he's made more money out of real estate now than he has made out of being a guy who is the founder of a large accounting firm. So his opinion is really, really good, and people rush in to see his webinars. Keep an eye on my Facebook page, and I'm actually going to promote a webinar with him. It's coming up in about 3 weeks' time, and we always get loads and loads of people involved in those ones as well. If you also want to work with Shane at Cashflow Property to work in a more bespoke level, finding particular deals for you, you know that you're going to end up working possibly with me a little bit, and most definitely with Jack and Mortgage Supply Company. There's 2 different ways you can do that. We've already talked about the deal alert system, where you get sent out a quick email or an update whenever a fresh deal comes out. Shane also works for a very small number of people in his bespoke buyer's service, which means that he, for the use of a better word, triages people and finds out exactly what it is that they want and deals with it one-to-one, and then he goes and finds that for them. And he's one of the few most trusted advisors in that space in the country that has a really, really active service of doing exactly that as well.
And that way you won't miss out on deals, because we'll be specifically finding it for you. So you will be presented with it. It won't go on the database. So if you are actually actively wanting to purchase in the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks, I would recommend that. Then we can just put you at the front of the queue, and that can work really well for people that are sort of ready to go, and other people that are just sort of looking around at this stage. They want to see how Cashflow Property works, what we're advertising, all of that. Then jump on the deal alerts and just get a feel for it. We send a few emails out a week, so you can just keep up to date with current deals.
Absolutely. All right. Well, look, that's probably enough from us today. I want to thank my other co-speakers and remind everybody online tonight that if you're specifically interested in a deal and want a quick phone call from us tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, just jump in the comments there and say, hey, give us a quick call on deal either 1, 2, or 3. And as I said, a couple more deals coming later in the week or early next week, and next webinar, June the 10th. And we will send you out reminders and alerts for that. But in the meantime, thanks for my co-speakers, Jack from Mortgage Supply Company and Shane from Nexus Property. And we are going to do a run for it and go and have some dinner. So you guys have a great evening. Thanks very much for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks.
See ya. Bye.